Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the GOAT Picks. I give you the best picks and the best predictions. I'm going to go over the UFC main event. But guys, subscribe and like. I got 1 subscriber so far. I know on the shorts, I see you guys got, 100 views for me. So if I can get at least 10% of that and get 10 subscribers, road to 100 subscribers, please, that'd be great. So we're going to go over the main card, UFC Vegas 115. Starting the main card off, we got Tommy McMillan versus...
He just put it on and had his hands go. Look at him go. McMillan getting stronger as the fight goes on.
This is Milano Zicchini. Now McMillan, he's the Sugar Sean 2.0. I think in his senior year or somewhere in college or senior year, he went 52-0 with wrestling. He had the state record for pins. So the guy has a good wrestling background, but that was either in high school or college. I did watch his debut. The guy has heart. The only thing I do not like is his chin. I mean, he just kept fighting and he's just brawling like that, I don't know if it's because in, Dana White's Contender Series, you want to get into the UFC, so you have to show you have heart. You just have to go all out there and give it all you have. But if you do that in the UFC and you get in the top 10, people are going to get that chin and it's over. They're going to capitalize on that. So I don't want to see him do that in this next fight. Now, his odds are extremely high. So what does that tell you? Are they feeding Milano Zicchini to him? Now, Milano Zicchini out here, he's an Italian. He hasn't fought in 2 to 3 years. I think it's because of his shoulder injury. But back then, he was a hard hitter. So he does have a lot of experience with fighting. He lost his first fight, though, in the UFC. But I don't think it's going to be a tough fight. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I don't think it's going to be an easy walk in the park for Tommy McMillan. So I want to go with Milano Zicchini. I'll definitely bet on it and sprinkle it, some money on there, because those odds are just great to pick him, the way McMillan was chinny and fighting in the debut. But I just have to go with McMillan just because the UFC does want Tommy Gunn to get some hype with the fans and become the Sugar Sean 2.0. So give me Tommy McMillan. Maybe I'll become a fan after this fight if he fights differently, but I just don't like how he leaves that chin open. Kid has heart, but in the top 10, you can't be doing that. So the next fight, Ethan Ewig versus Rafael Esteban. You got Rafael Esteban, he's 14-0, great grappler. The only problem is, when he does get his opponents down, they do get back up. So Ethan Ewig, on the other hand, he's very scrappy. He has a great cardio, great pace he keeps on you. I mean, he just nonstop, relentless with the pace. You saw in his last fight against Wellmaker, I mean, did he not destroy that hype train?
And the Professor Finesse!
I thought this guy, Ethan Ewig, was going to get destroyed. I kept betting round 1 knockout. I bet the round 2 knockout didn't come. When I started seeing him piece up Wellmaker, and then Wellmaker was just, you could just tell in the fight, he wanted to give up. He just couldn't do nothing. Crazy. It was just, if you look at that fight back, I mean, it's just the way Ethan was fighting and pretty much, ruined the hype train. You just know the guy's definitely gonna probably be top 10 soon if he could beat Rafael and just keep fighting down all the people that the UFC throws at him. So I think Ethan Ewig is going to be able to stuff the takedowns. He probably will get takedown in the first round, but I think he will get back up like everyone else does. And I think he is younger and he has the better cardio and pace. I think he'll just keep getting up and just putting the pressure on Rafael. Now, if Rafael can hold him down, then it'll be a whole different day and it will just be a boring decision fight. But I think Ethan can get round 3, get him out of there, or he can get the decision. So give me Ethan Ewig as my pick. Next fight, we got Abdul Akam Yakav, I probably botched that, versus Brendanson Ribeiro. Now, Abdul, we'll just call him Abdul, or Abulakam. Abulakam, he's negative 2,000, so I don't really got to go over this fight. He's going to win by murder, submission, KO. Take him round 1. So give me Abdul Akam as my pick. And your next fight is Verena Jandiroba. Verena Jandiroba versus Tabitha Ricci. We got Verena versus Ricci. They're both black belts. Thing is, I just don't see why they put Ricci as the underdog. I mean, I'm going to go with Ricci. That's my pick. I just think she's more athletic. I think she's going to be more quicker. I think, yeah, her cardio take is going to last long. I think, Verna is going to try to get those takedowns on Ricci, but I think Ricci will keep, getting up and putting the pace on her. And I think she's just going to outbox her and get the decision win. So give me Ricci as the underdog. And the main event, Chris Duncan versus Money Moicano.
I cannot afford to lose.
Oh, this is a tough one to pick. I love both fighters. They used to be, I think they still are, but they're training partners. Chris Duncan talks about how when he first joined the gym, Moicano fucked him up, put him all these submissions. But when he was first put in the gym, so I don't think he fucks him up anymore. Moicano, love the guy, the way he treated BSD in that fight. I don't think no one could ever do that to BSD, besides maybe Islam Makhachev, who mollywopped Money Moicano, even though it was a first, it was just like a first week notice or 2 week notice. But could Money Moicano do that to BSD out of 10 more fights? The same outcome? I don't think so. So was it a fluke or what? We saw the way, Money Moicano fought Beneil Dariush, and I just didn't see the hunger in Moicano anymore. So is Moicano fighting because he can't afford to lose? Or is he just, I don't think he's fighting for the belt anymore. I think he's just fighting to get the paycheck. And, it's a lot harder when you're that close to the belt and then you lose and you got to fight back up again. You don't have that much hype and motivation, I feel like. Whereas Chris Duncan, on the other hand, Chris Duncan, I know this isn't part of the picks, but, his first fight, he was at weigh-ins, he found out his mother got murdered. And what did he do? He still fought. He won the fight. He speaks about in another interview, it's hard not having his mother there to see the achievements with him having kids and him winning the fights in the UFC. And that's a huge thing to go through. I mean, I'm a big Chris Duncan fan. I think he's going to win this fight. That's my pick. If you look up the Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan fight.
Duncan to the body, but he ate a right hand.
Right hand by Duncan. Good right hand by Duncan. Oh, my God. Another one.
Smart by McKinney to attack the body. Oh,
he hurt him. He hurt him bad. Elbow.
Now McKinney's covering up.
That elbow rocked.
Everyone knows the T-Rex, it's killed or be killed. He gets everyone out in round 1. He almost had Duncan, and Duncan just showed heart. Duncan showed he had a chin. He kept the distance, and he weathered the storm. And what did he do? He caught Terrence McKinney with a bow, dropped him, just put the work on him, pulled his legs, and then submitted him. I think, Chris Duncan has a lot more motivation. He's the more hungry fighter. He's a great brawler. He's a great scrapper. He obviously trained with Moicano, so he knows all the ground, how the ground game's going to go. I think this is just going to be a stand-up scrap, and I think Chris Duncan's going to get it. So give me Chris Duncan to win and move on. Thank you, guys. Subscribe, guys, please. But those are my picks.